Hey everybody, today I want to talk about something that gets brought up a lot in my comments section, and it's this idea of needle drops. Now, what exactly is a needle drop? So a needle drop is a digital file of a particular record or a vinyl pressing. So what someone would do who was making a needle drop is they would take what they considered a nice pressing, and in this case we have like the Beatles German stereo pressing of National Mystery Tour. They would take this, they'd put it on their record player, preferably a really nice record player with a nice needle, and then they would make a digital copy of it. And the way they would do that is they'd play it from their record player out of their amplifier and into some kind of type of recording software, usually a high-res file, of course, as high as they could go, and make a digital file of this particular record. And then they would transfer it over to either a CDR, like I have right here, or just a digital file online for people to check out and to listen to. Now, I gotta say, these are considered bootlegs now. Obviously, the original vinyl pressing this is not a bootleg, but once you make a digital file of it, it is a bootleg because you're making a copy of it that has not been authorized by the Beatles or anything like that. So in no way in this video am I telling you where to find these needle drops or anything like that. So I'm just telling you about this concept of needle drops and what I think about them. And I have a few warnings to pass along to you about some of these needle drops. Now, I gotta say that over the years, I've had a lot of really, really cool people send me a lot of these needle drops. And I have I have over 100 of these CDRs in a drawer somewhere. I also have a ton of digital files on my computer, stuff like that people have sent me over the years because they want me to listen to a particular pressing. And I always love that. I welcome that. It's really, really a nice thing for people to do, and I just enjoy doing it. My friend Bert, by the way, I should give a special shout out to. Bert has sent me a ton of these over the years, and I very much appreciate them. So, I don't want to make anyone feel bad about what I'm about to say as far as these CDR needle drops go. I'm just giving you my opinion about these because I think there's been some misinformation that's been kind of going around lately that I just want to clear up. So first off, one of the main things about these particular needle drop CDRs that I want to just express to everyone is that some people, I think, are under the impression that if they have the needle drop CDR digital version of a certain vinyl pressing, that it is exactly the same as far as a listening experience as the actual vinyl pressing itself. It's not. I just want to say that right off the bat. As far as I'm concerned, this digital version of the vinyl pressing, while it sounds really, really good and it gives you a really good idea of what the actual vinyl sounds like, it is in no way anywhere near owning the actual vinyl and listening to it on a good stereo system. And I think a lot of people, what I've been seeing lately in the comments of my videos and other people's videos online, is there are people that will create their opinion based off of just a needle drop of a certain pressing. So they'll dismiss a certain pressing or praise a certain pressing without ever really hurting the actual vinyl version of it. And I think that is just something that needs to be made clear, that as good as these needle drops can sound, and a lot of them do sound really good, you're not getting the full experience of the particular pressing without actually having the very record itself on your stereo and listening to it in all its sonic glory as the birds go chirping outside. And the other thing I want to make clear too is that a lot of times with these needle drops, they're not just flat transfers. And what do I mean by a flat transfer? A flat transfer would be you put the record on the record player, you record it into your computer with no EQ change at all, no compression added, no nothing, right? That would be a flat transfer. Now, most of the time with people's whatever type of recording equipment they have as far as digital goes, there is some type of compression going on because you're going from an analog format to a digital format, and that it just involves some type of compression. It's hard to get just a completely flat transfer, unless you have really, really, really high-end recording studio type equipment. And in that case, it is possible to do just a flat transfer. But most of the time, I think most of the people that are making these needle drops, there is some type of compression going on. So right away, you're getting away from the original pressing. Right away, there's a little bit of a change going on there. The other thing is, and I'm not going to name any names, but there are certain famous needle drops, people that have made like the whole series of the Beatles albums, like the UK pressings, like mono and stereo, some of the German pressings as well, and they've made a whole series of these needle drops that they have then added their own EQ to, they've added their own mastering to as well, to try to make them sound as best as they can sound to their own ears. There's nothing wrong with that, and some of those sound really, really good. In fact, I have a lot of those CDRs, and they do sound good, and I enjoy listening to them. But that being said, I think a lot of people think that that's the way the actual vinyl pressings that were created, that were used as the source material for these later CDRs, they think that that's how those pressings sound. They don't understand that a lot of work has been done, a lot of digital work has been done to make the CDR sound a certain way. So having a CDR version and having the vinyl version, the word of advice that I would give, the word of a warning, is that you don't know what's been done to this CDR. You don't know what has happened from the vinyl pressing all the way over to make this digital version. You don't know what's been added. So I just want to put that out there, is that when you're listening to these needle drops, just keep in mind that a lot of digital magic has probably been added to these CDRs that it's either adding to or taking away from the original sound of the vinyl pressing. Now, of course, I might sound like I'm being an elitist here, or you might be thinking like, well, of course he's going to say that because he owns these vinyl pressings that I'm sure, I've paid a lot of money for some of these, and they're hard to track down and that whole thing. And it's just so easy to go online and find this digital version. So of course, he's going to say the vinyl is better. But I'm trying to be as clear and honest as I can, because, by the way, I like these needle drops. I think they're fun to own. They're fun to have for sure, fun to compare with. But all I'm trying to say is the idea that these are equal is just not the case. And I'm sure a lot of you already know that, but I just want to get that out there, because I do get a lot of comments from people who will say things like I heard, for example, this is why I actually have this. I have people who have said, this is a needle drop of an original UK mono Sgt. Pepper. Okay? Now, I happen to have an original UK mono Sgt. Pepper right here. And if you don't believe me, there's the back, there's the Parlophone yellow and black label. Now, this needle drop doesn't state what the actual, it says it's a first press, but I just have to go off of what that says. I don't know for sure that it's the first press, but let's just say it is. This I know is the first pressing because I know the matrix numbers and all that kind of stuff. I have compared these two to the best of my ability as far as listening on my stereo without changing the EQ at all. And I've compared these two, and they are so different, it's crazy. They both sound good, I gotta say, but the original vinyl sounds so much better, it's unbelievable. Just the sonic differences, and this is a digital file. It sounds kind of like just a flat wall, while this looks like a beautiful window looking into a mansion, is how I would describe it. So there are people, though, like I've seen comments where someone will say, I've heard a needle drop of an original UK mono pressing, and I don't like it. It doesn't sound good. It sounds lifeless and flat and all that kind of stuff. And that's probably true. The needle drop you've heard probably does sound kind of lifeless and flat when you're listening to it on your computer with your everything's just digital, and I'm sure it doesn't sound all that great. But when you're listening to an actual vinyl pressing of an original UK mono on a pretty good stereo system with a good needle, it's going to sound great. And it's in no way anything like this needle drop. And that's the point I want to get across, is that the needle drops are fun and they're cool to have, but when you compare them to the actual pressings, there is just no comparison. For example, here is a German revolver that I like a lot. I talk about this all the time. This is I think this is a 1969 stereo German pressing of revolver. This is the same revolver, a needle drop of it, 1969 German stereo revolver. And I've compared these two, and they are so different. They both sound pretty good, but the vinyl is amazing and sounds so much better. I think I said they both sound pretty good. I meant the CDR needle drop sounds pretty good, but the actual vinyl pressing blows it out of the water. And at the same time, though, you do get a good idea of what the vinyl pressing sounds like from the needle drop, but you're not getting the full experience. So that's really the main part of this video, the main idea behind this video is that needle drops are fun to have and to have in your collection and to listen to, of course, but using them as the definitive evidence as to if you like a pressing or don't like a pressing, I don't think that's really all that correct. And I gotta say that I have some of these needle drops as well, of records that I don't have in my collection. And for example, there is famously, this is the Nimbus Supercut. I would love to one day have the Nimbus Supercut, an actual vinyl pressing of it. They are so hard to find. They go for crazy amounts of money. I'll probably never ever have one in my collection. So my friend Bert sent me this needle drop of it, and by the way, this sounds great. I've listened to it many times on my CD player, on my stereo. I burned it, I ripped it to my computer, listened to it there. It sounds really good. I've even compared it to other needle drops, and it sounds really, really good. It's an excellent sounding needle drop. That being said, I don't feel like I've ever heard the true Nimbus pressing, because I've never had the actual record in my hands and put it on my record player and listen to it. But I'm happy to have this needle drop of it. Also, another Sgt. Pepper needle drop that I've never heard the actual vinyl pressing of it. Actually, that's wrong. I have a friend who does own this, and I have heard it at his house. But as far as being able to listen to it by myself and really, really analyze it and compare it to my other pressing, I haven't been able to do that. But I do have, again, this needle drop. This is the UHQR Mobile Fidelity Sgt. Pepper. And this also sounds really good, this needle drop on this CDR. So I'm happy to have it. Happy to have it, these two CDRs in my collection, because they are a lot of fun to listen to, but they're not the real thing. And I don't for 1 second... I don't use these, I don't compare these against some of my other Sgt. Pepper pressings I have in my collection, because it's apples and oranges. They're different things, and yeah, that's the main idea behind this video. Is the needle drop CDR digital versions are cool and a lot of fun and a good way to dive into certain pressings, but they are not the actual records themselves, and they never will be. Because there's a magic that happens when the needle, excuse what I'm about to say because it's going to be real typical. When the needle meets the vinyl, there is a magic that happens there, and then that signal goes through your stereo, through your amplifier, through real speakers, and goes out into your listening room. There's a magic that happens there that can only be achieved, in my opinion, by placing the record on your turntable and going through all those steps to hear the music. A digital source of these exact same pressings, as good as it'll sound and as nice as it can be, the magic is missing. And that's just my opinion. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope I wasn't being too preachy. I definitely don't want to be preachy, but it's just something that's been coming up a lot, that I've been getting a lot of people who are saying, I've heard this needle drop, or have I heard a needle drop, or do I own needle drops? So I just wanted to address it in this video, and hopefully that'll help you along the way make some more decisions about when you hear a certain needle drop. By the way, that's the last thing I'm going to add. It just came into my brain. I want to say it. The needle drops are great in the sense that once you listen to them, and if you like a specific one, then it might help you in your decision to go out and buy the actual vinyl pressing of it. So that is the great thing about needle drops. But don't base your whole decision off of the needle drop completely, because it's digital, and that's it. That's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're all doing well, and I'll be making some more videos. So take care. Bye for now.